Milele Water is a very interesting way and concept of how his social enterprise chooses to provide water. Marcel, it's so good to have you here with us in studio. Tell me a little bit about Director of Maji, or rather Maji Milele Waters, and what inspired you to start this?
I've been working in development cooperation all my life, and about 8 years ago I started working at an organization, and they're investing every year millions of dollars in water supply. And they told me, we invest so much money, we go back after 5 years, and then very often there is no water coming out of the tap. Actually, almost 40% of all the projects fail. So it's a waste of money, and people are again without water. So I was in search for more sustainability.
Right.
And then I came up with an idea which we tested in Kajiado. That was really great. And then I decided, wow, this is where we can combine economic development with, let's say, human development.
Right.
And that's why I did set up the company.
Right. So explain to me perhaps the two main problems, the two main challenges, especially with water supply here in Nairobi, or rather in Kenya at large.
Well, in Kenya still millions of people don't have access to water, which of course has all kind of dire consequences. And also water is quite expensive, especially for the poor. Maybe you and me, we probably have a pipe connection, and we pay for the first 6 cubic, maybe 150 bob. That translates to about half a shilling for a jerry can. But the people in informal settlements, they don't pay half a bob. They might pay 5 bob, 10 bob, or even 20 bob.
Right.
That means that the poor people are paying 20 times, maybe even 40 times more than you and me pay for water.
At the end of the day, so they end up paying more for it.
Yes,
and
per liter. Yeah.
Do you think that the government is doing enough to make sure that Kenyans, especially the millions that do not have water, the areas that lack water, are they doing enough? Because I'm sure, like you said, funding is not the problem. There's money, but you come after 5 years and you cannot see the result of that money.
Yeah. Well, on one hand, there's not enough funding. In order to achieve that everybody has access to safe water in 2013, Vision 2030, we need about 1.7 trillion shillings. That's a lot of money. The Kenyan government can probably in all those years maybe raise about 0.5 trillion. So there is a very big financing at 1.2 trillion shillings.
Right.
So the only way to attract that money is to get money from banks, from financiers. But that means you need viable business concept, because banks are not going to lend you money if you can't show that you are having a good business case.
Right, right. All right. So talk to me perhaps some of what we need to do to fix a lot of this. I know for one thing for sure, here in Kenya, water cartels is an issue.
Definitely.
There you go. So what else can we do to make sure that we achieve, or that we start to begin to work on these problems and have solutions for them?
Yeah, I think there are like 3 main problems to make the business case. Once the water sector can make the business case, then money is there. You know, the international world, there is loads of money, but we only need to show that we have good business cases. And then one of the problems, I think, is that the water tariffs are sometimes not cost reflective. So if the tariff is too low, you can't make enough money. So it's already a problem for a bank to lend you money. That's one. Secondly, in Kenya, there is a very high NRW. NRW means non-revenue water. So you pump maybe 1 million liters, but you get paid maybe only for, let's say, 400,000 liters. That means 600,000 liters, you don't get money. That's a big problem. So non-revenue water is also definitely something that needs to be addressed. And then finally, I think the water cartels, they are also related to this non-revenue water, also play a very big role. Like I just said, people in Nairobi should pay half a bob, but they end up paying 5 to 10 bob or even more. So, yeah, water cartels are definitely playing a very negative role.
All right, so Marcel, talk to me about how prepaid meters can help with this specific scenario.
Well, prepaid meters, we do them for individual connections. So that's just like KPLC prepaid. It's exactly the same. Now it's prepaid water instead of prepaid power. But we also do prepaid meters for kiosks. So where you have maybe 200 families all going to one water point, and everybody, in order to get water, they will need a token. They need to top up this token. It can be done by mobile money. once you have credits in this token, you go to the water point and you fetch your water. Now you can imagine there is no space for the cartels, because every single liter that is dispensed is to be paid for, and it can be followed online. So in the cloud, we can exactly see how much water we are dispensing today, yesterday in Wajir or in Uganda or in Nairobi, doesn't matter where. So it's 100% transparent. So of course, if it is 100% transparent, now it's very difficult for anybody to pocket some money.
Right, and the water cartels as well. So that's one of the ways to get them out of the equation.
Yes.
All right, talk to me about have you tried this concept? And where have you tried it? Has it been successful? What are the thoughts of the local communities when it comes to using the prepaid water?
Yeah, we have projects now in about 17 counties. We started like 4 years ago. And in most of the counties, it's actually very successful. We see, for example, in Marsabit, there are some local communities, water committees. They use these machines now to dispense water 24/7. You don't need a kiosk attendant. 24/7, as long as people have credits, they can fetch water. So you see that local conflicts about getting access to water have been resolved. But also, very important for them, they are now generating like maybe 5 or 10 times more than they ever generated. And that means that now a microfinancing bank came in and said, okay, I can see how much money you make and we can see it online. So we are now willing to lend you money. So now they can even invest and increase the project. Yeah.
Go ahead. Okay, so prepaid meters, is it a concept that you see being well adopted on the African continent? And will it get to a point then where it becomes privatized and then it becomes expensive? Do you see that ever happening?
Well, first of all, yes, I definitely see it happening. It is happening in Kenya, and it's going to happen everywhere. It's like maybe 10 years ago or something, that mobile money, people say, do we need that? But now everybody is using it. And it's going to be the same with prepaid water, because the advantages of 24/7 access, 100% revenue collection, 100% transparency, there are just too many to deny. So it will come. Regarding your other question, whether private management now might lead to higher prices, that is a risk. So I think the government needs to control that, and I think we have an organization in Kenya, WASREP, the Water Service Regulatory Board, who is there to regulate the sector.
Right.
And private companies or government companies, organizations, doesn't matter. They all need to abide by the regulations of WASREP. So as long as it is well regulated, private sector can probably do actually a very good job.
Marcel, I am curious to find out how this prepaid meter water works. So I see you have some. Is this the equipment?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the equipment. So this is the one for the individual connections, like now the prepaid power meter, but now for water.
Yes, so what do you normally have for electricity, now this is for water.
Exactly.
Okay.
This is for your house or for a school or whatever.
Okay.
And this is the one I was just talking about for kiosks. So you can imagine that you install this. Now the power goes off. That's not good. Oh,
sorry
for that.
This equipment's quite expensive.
Yeah, so I think they messed up a little bit with the power cable, so I can't do it right now. But what I can do is show how it works. But unfortunately, you're not going to see water
because
now.
the cable.
Yeah, the cable just went off. I'm sorry for that. So you can imagine that you can install this in a kiosk.
Yes.
And when people want to fetch water, they first top up.
Yes.
They press the button.
Okay.
Then they show this unit
sort
to
of
the
scanning.
RFID reader. It scans.
Right.
And now this machine checks, do I have credits? If I have credits, now water starts running here immediately. If I have power. It's usually solar powered, but now in the studio, something.
So this can also work on solar power?
It's always solar powered.
Wow, beautiful.
Yes.
So it doesn't necessarily have to be electric. It doesn't have to be electrified.
No.
That is fantastic.
Yes. So once again, you press the button, you show this, water will come out, you get maybe 20 liters. Unless you want less, then you press it again, it stops. The machine has a SIM card, transmits all the data to the cloud, and that means that you can see on your phone, on a computer, exactly how many liters were used by which customer in which part of the country, by which kiosk. Any data is there.
Right, that is fantastic. And do you sort of get like, is there a statement to make just for show of proof? E.g., when you pay your electricity, at the end of the day, you still have proof that, you get a statement to show that you acquired this amount of electricity and you paid for it, right? So if your landlord comes and says, you didn't pay for electricity for this month, you show them. So is there anything like that with this as well? Once you have paid and you've done the whole, you've scanned it and gotten your water?
You actually don't really need it. You prepay, and whenever you fetch water, you will see in the display here information. You can actually see 1 liter, 2 liters, 3 liters, and you will see your balance in shillings going down little by little. And at the end, you will see how much balance is still remaining here.
Right.
So you're seeing it online.
Right. So if anyone wanted to purchase this, they would have to purchase this or either or.
This is just the demo unit. Imagine that this is a big tank. This is just a demo unit.
Okay.
So usually this machine comes with like 3 taps with 3 buttons. So most of our kiosks, they have like 2 or 3 taps, so that 2 or 3 people can fetch water at the same time. And we can use maybe 1 tap for normal water, maybe 1 tap for purified water, and maybe even another 3rd tap can be used maybe to provide water to animals or to small-scale irrigation. All with one and the same machine, all with one and the same token.
Fantastic. Marcel, how long has Maji Milele been running for?
We are now 4 years old.
You're 4 years old. Yes. And so far the concept is working, you're getting good feedback.
Yeah,
it's changing lives.
It's definitely changing lives. Of course, things are not positive everywhere. We also, in some places, we have problems, like
difficult.
The cartels.
Right.
In Nairobi, for example, Nairobi Water, they purchased 800 of these units and 240,000 of these units. That means 240,000 families are supposed to be served. And they should get access to water at half a bob per jerrycan. So many people in informal settlements should benefit from this on a day-to-day basis. But now the problem is Nairobi Water has installed so far maybe about 60 units, but cartels are cutting pipes.
Again,
cartels don't like
cartels.
This product to become successful.
Right. So what are you going to do about the cartels? Because you have an amazing product right here, but then cartels seems to be an issue.
I don't think that's up to me. I think that's up to our clients. In this case, Nairobi Water, but of course elsewhere it's our clients that need to deal with cartels. And that needs a lot of perseverance, and there are some ways. For example, what Nairobi Water tries is to liaise with local CBOs, and they get also a little bit of the money of what Nairobi Water is collecting to get the buy-in from the local community. But of course that takes time.
So do you see a time in our generation, in our period, where access to water will be something easy? And because it's one of the sustainable development goals under the United Nations, not only for Africa, but literally around the world. It's a problem, be it India and other developed nations. Do you see a time within this generation where access of water would no longer be a hassle?
To be honest, I think it's very much achievable. The goal, universal access to safe water in 2030, I think it's achievable. This is part of the solution. Of course, a lot more needs to happen, but it's all, we have a lack of money. But if you can improve the business case, and what we see that our clients, once they have installed this, usually the revenues go up by 300%, 400%. So now the financial sector, banks are becoming interested. And if money is now flowing to the water sector, then you can address problems.
Funding the program is possible.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Marcel. Thank you for coming to the studio. Thank you for this amazing project, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll dive into the discussion of blockchain technology. Again, another conversation you do not want to miss. And remember, today being Mashujaa Day, we have an entire team in Kakamega at the Pukungu Stadium who are keeping an eye on everything. The event should be kicking off officially at 10 a.m. with President Uhuru Kenyatta presiding over that event. Let's take that commercial break. We'll be right back.